This is 911. State your emergency. Hello? I can't help you if I don't know where you're at, honey. Where are you at? Where are you? I need as many units as I can get for Fairfield Road. Give me the numbers.
911, what's your emergency?
Hey friends, it's Fletch. I'm Vice President of Public Safety Solutions at 911 Inform. Welcome to this new podcast series, Off the Cuff, Confessions of an ENP. Brought to you by 911 Inform, delivering next-generation 911 services for the enterprise today and making every second count. In this series, we're going to be talking to ENPs that have been on the job for years, as well as those brand new ENPs that have just passed the test. We'll dig in and have an in-depth conversation and find out what the ENP certification means to them. We'll talk about why they did it, what it means for their career, and what they did to pass the exam. Industry certifications are important to industry professionals, and the ENP certification is one that's admired by many in public safety. So join me as we find out exactly what makes an ENP tick in this off-the-cuff podcast series, Confessions of an ENP. Hey, it's Fletch. Welcome to this episode of Off the Cuff. Today we're talking with Stephen Mette, known as Mette, like spaghetti, ENP, who's out of the Northwest Regional Emergency Communications Center in Dublin, Ohio. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome. Congrats on your brand new ENP.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So tell me a little bit about the background of your career. How did you get into where you are today?
Going way back about 15 years ago, I started as a police officer in the city of Worthington. From there, moved to being a detective. A little bit after that, a sergeant. Spent a good deal of time as a first line supervisor there. Was promoted to lieutenant for patrol operations there. About the same time that I got promoted there, Worthington was looking to merge dispatch operations with NRECC here. So I actually had a very unique opportunity as the patrol lieutenant there to be handling the transition between the two. And then as that progressed, they were looking for a new operations manager, and I was able to utilize all my skills and abilities that I had developed to transfer over here to NRECC. So I've been here about a year, so about a total of 15 years in public safety.
So you did this backwards, right? Most people get in as a dispatcher to get out on the road.
I had spent plenty of time on the road. I enjoyed what I did there when I was on the road, and as I moved into supervision and leadership, I really found another niche there that I enjoyed quite a bit. I've been a ham radio operator for over 20 years, so my interest in technology and in communications has always been there. So it fit nicely with law enforcement while I was in that role, but I've definitely found a great home here.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's I've run into a lot of people in public safety that are also ham operators, as you can see the background there. It's a very interesting hobby. I really enjoy the e-com side of that, and it's really an untapped communications network that is going to pretty much be there in when the smoking hole exists. It's got a lot of survivability, and a lot of people don't really realize that.
Yeah, and just the ability to take that knowledge and apply it on a consistent basis to everything that we do here. That was definitely one of the things that helped me when I was studying for the ENP exam, was having some of that background.
So what prompted you to go for your ENP?
I had attended CMCP at NENA at the Columbus conference, and in talking with some other folks there who had taken their ENP exam, I was actually lucky enough to be in Ty's last class, class 100, and it just really sounded like something that for me would help to broaden my knowledge base for all the parts that are associated with what I do here. And it really was a great opportunity to start applying things as I started studying. There were things that I would, go home, read something in the book of knowledge, and then the next day there'd be something here, and I'd be like, oh, okay, that now I know what that is and, how we can help to progress through that or at least be better informed with it.
Well, consider yourself very lucky to be one of the folks that got trained by Ty. I've known him personally and professionally for a long, long, long time, and sorry to see him go. But he had a great career opportunity in front of him, and he's still in the business and he's still doing good. But consider yourself lucky to be a member of that. Did your agency help you with your ENP? Did they pay for it?
Yes, paid for all of the training materials as well as the test itself. Okay.
Do you have any other ENPs in your agency?
Our director, Jay Somerville, is an ENP. The communication managers that report to me have that on their list of things that they want to accomplish. So we're trying to facilitate that happening as well. And a few of the comm supervisors have also expressed interest in that, as well as our CAD manager.
Wow, that's great. So who writes the job specs for your agency? Are you involved in that?
I have a hand in that along with HR and the director.
Do you see ENP becoming maybe not a requirement, but a preferred in the job spec?
It actually, for the operations manager position, is a preferred criteria, along with some of the APCO registered public safety leader and some of those other higher level courses for the position of operations manager. It is a desired category already. Even the communication managers would probably, when we go through the next round of what we're looking for with that job description, would probably include that if it doesn't have it already.
Do you find yourself changing the spec to say it's preferred to get the job, but it's required within 6 months or a year or whatever?
I think as we've got most of those kind of things now, I don't know if we have a time limit on it, but it does say that the ability to obtain and hold for any of those different kinds of courses. So there's definitely a value in that striving for learning. And that's one of the things that, again, attracted me to doing the ENP was I'm a lifelong learner. I love to experience new things and understand things to a greater depth. And that certainly pushed me in that direction.
So what did you do for studying? I mean, that's the biggest thing. People get I think they get too wrapped up into ENP because it's not an easy test. It's not a super hard test. I mean, you're not creating nuclear physics or anything, but it's something you have to study for. And it is complex and it's long and it's complete and it touches a lot of subjects. What are some of the things that you did to grasp all of that knowledge into a couple of hours of sitting down and doing it?
Some of the best things that I did was on my 20 or so minute commute, I would listen to the already recorded ENP study groups. So both Tracy's program and Mission Critical Partners listened to all of those episodes, I think almost all of them twice. And then anytime something would come up in there, then I went, okay, I need to know this. I'm not sure that I completely understand it. I'd tag it, and then I'd go back and read through the book of knowledge and would go through even some of the items on Nina's wiki just to make sure that I fully understood the concept of what was going on with it. And through that process of doing that multiple times over, reading through the whole book end to end and taking every practice test I could possibly find to help give me an idea of where my deficiencies might be with that, was able to work through all of those. And like I said, gain a lot of practical knowledge that I was using right off the rip.
You know, one of the things that I always like to ask people, when you finished the last question on the test and you went up to hand in your test score, between that time and the time that you found pass or fail, did you think you passed? Did you know you passed? Did you wonder if you passed?
I was pretty confident based on the amount of studying that I had done and the depth that I had gained with that I was going to pass the exam. I had passed on the practice test. So that gave me a good degree of confidence that I was going to be able to go through that. Now, of course, actually sitting the test and taking it, there were a couple of questions that I just went, I have no idea what that is, and I am literally shooting in the dark, which kind of surprised me given how much time I had spent on that. But at the same time, I think that's a great representation that you really can never stop learning. There's always something more, and you got to stay green and growing, or you're going to go brown and down. So you gotta keep fresh with stuff.
Yeah, when I took the test, I'm not going to say that I felt like I definitely passed. I felt like I did well, but there was just that little bit. I'm like, well, I think I did okay, but I'm really not 100%. I'm not sure I'd stake my life on it. And when I finally got the pass, I was like, oh my God, thank God. And what a great feeling when you first get that ENP, yes, you made it, right? There's no other feeling like that.
Yeah, it was really great to get the provisional pass while I was still in the parking lot from the testing center. So that was nice. It was still like it could change. So I didn't really want to be, like 100% and really put it out there until I got the official, scores and everything else. And then just very recently I got my certificate and everything. And so then I was like, all right, I can put this on LinkedIn. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, no, I think there was one time several years ago where one question got misscored, and I think there were two people that were like right on the line, went under the line. And those were hard phone calls to make, but and it was just in the algorithm of the scoring of that one particular question, and it was caught and it got fixed. And like I said, it was two people that were like right on the line. So, the provisional, it's a provisional, right? Were you happy with your final score? It sounds like you put a lot of studying in.
I was. I did pretty well, given the amount of study that I had. I'd love to know what I missed so that I could go back and study more to be able to make sure that I'm very well attuned with everything that exists inside of that. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but that's okay. I'm very comfortable with how I did. And it again, is just reinforces the need to continue to grow and to learn and make sure that I know all the aspects of the business.
Absolutely. So what advice do you have for somebody who's on the line of saying, well, maybe I'll go for my ENP, maybe I won't. Should I or shouldn't I?
I was at CMCP the last day, and I said, you know what? I'm going to book the next test. No question about it. I'm going to do it. And that is going to force me to make sure that I'm nose to the grindstone. I'm going to get it done. Whatever else is in the way, I will mitigate as best possible. But it's just going to happen. And I think the longer that you stare at the frog, the harder it is to eat. So jump in and do it.
I've heard that from so many people that set that date, and knowing that deadline was there was what the drive was to get them to finally sit down and do it. How was your I had a friend stop by. How was your reaction from your teams? I mean, did you get a lot of accolades? Did you notice a level of respect go up?
I had talked with my direct reports about it a little bit beforehand about, going to take the test and things like that. And so, they were very supportive the whole time, helping me with practice tests, with information that they had already obtained in their studies for it. Me coming into the position I was in afforded me a greater opportunity to have time to be able to dedicate to that. Now, again, that being said, I spent maybe about 2 total hours while on the clock doing it. Most of my time was spent out of the office doing that. But it just happens that, where I'm at in life with kids and everything else, I had time to be able to dedicate to doing that. So, everybody was, very supportive and, congratulatory of all of it. But I had a lot of help to get there.
Yeah. No. How did you find the work groups and the study groups? I mean, were those really the key that got you through it?
They definitely identified the areas where I needed to spend more time making sure that I understood concepts. Some of that was also in the book knowledge, just the end office versus central office, and the amount of time that I spent going over that and which one's which, and just about everything short of hauling our AT&T 911 rep in the office here and going, all right, we're going on a field trip. You're going to show me where all these things are so I can actually wrap my head around what that is and what that means. I spent way too much time on that compared to what was on the test with it. But it was all worth it because it again reinforced concepts of, okay, this is how we actually do things here, and this is what it means down the line.
And that's also going to help you as you migrated to next generation 911, because by seeing the old stuff, you can see where the blockages are from what's got to happen to deliver next gen. And then you can, the new components will easily make sense. That's going to fix this and that's going to perform this function. Where are you guys with next gen rollout now?
We're kind of in this weird middle ground. The state is just getting to the point where they're passing the legislation for an emergency services IP network that'll be run statewide and accessible to PSAPs. Where we are at as NRECC, we have a mini version of a EZNet between us, Delaware County, and Westerville Communications, because we all use the same phone system, and we ingest our 911 traffic through analog lines into the digital system, and then the digital system routes those wherever. So in theory, if one of our operators went over to one of those two other locations and logged in with their credentials, they would see the same line appearances that they would see here, and all of those calls could be routed and answered at either of those two other facilities. So we kind of have a little bit of that going on already. We're missing, obviously, some of the larger components of being able to ship any of those data packages around for things like CAD and other elements that we may get. But we are at least a foot in the door. And like you said, it makes it a lot easier to identify where those hurdles are going to be for us to overcome when we do get to a point where that larger Ohio EZNet exists.
Yeah, I think the very first email I ever sent was probably 1987 or so. And, it was a couple of people that I knew could email a couple of people, on the other end, and that was pretty much it. And we all sat and said, what good is this? Because you can't reach anybody. Just anybody, right? And now look at it today. I mean, I've probably gotten 100 emails just in the last couple of hours back and forth. So as the 911 network, as the next gen 911 network grows and expands, there will be a day in the future that, you and I will certainly see where I'll be able to sit in New Jersey or sit in Florida or sit in Dublin, Ohio, and have the same appearance that I need to see no matter where I am. And it's all going to be seamless, and we're going to think back on the days of, wait a minute, hold on a second. Analog phone lines, caller ID, what are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's the ability for making all of those the separate items work together and then making them universal, essentially, to get from one place to another will make a huge difference in how we operate, particularly in this region, because having 5 different public safety answering points in this area, we constantly transfer calls. We're always using mutual aid. So the ability to streamline that and reduce the amount of time it takes or phone calls that have to be made and keeping all of that in a digital package will significantly increase our ability to be more effective with the resources that we have.
Yeah, I mean, it lets you consolidate training. It lets you consolidate SOPs. It really doesn't matter which agency you're working for. So not only can you move your people to another center and pick up slack for your own agency, you can lend your people out to another agency, when something is going wrong. Or heck, you don't even have to move, right? You can just change your login and away you go. So, well, that's great. Well, listen, I appreciate you sitting down with us. You got some great study practices under your belt, I can tell you. I'm sure you did quite well in the exam just from what you told me and how you study. Congratulations on your ENP. Congratulations on your long career and a very successful one. Like I said, you kind of did it backwards. Most people will start out on the desk and then hit out to the road. So, but hey, you found what you like, and I'm sure you're doing a great job. So, again, thanks for sitting down and joining me. Really do appreciate it. Steve Mette, like spaghetti. ENP. Take care, and thanks for what you do, man.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too. Well, that wraps up this episode of Off the Cuff, Confessions of an ENP. I'm Mark Fletcher, ENP, and I'm the Vice President of Public Safety Solutions at 911 Inform. Off the Cuff is sponsored by 911 Inform, delivering next-generation 911 solutions to the enterprise today and making every second count. Visit them on the web at 911inform.com. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter at Fletch911. Check out all my blogs and podcasts at Fletch.tv. And be sure to like and subscribe below. That way you'll be immediately notified whenever a new podcast is published. Thanks so much for listening. If you're in public safety, thanks for what you do. Take care and have a great day.